On the outskirts of a bustling city, nestled in a quiet village, stood a modest wooden house. Its cracked windows and faded paint whispered tales of time. Inside lived an elderly woman named Mera, whose life had been a mosaic of happiness and heartache. Her only son, Ayan, had moved to the city years ago, chasing dreams that seemed to pull him further away with each passing year. Mira's days revolved around waiting. She waited by the window, her frail fingers brushing the curtains aside, hoping to spot the faint silhouette of her son's car in the distance. Her evenings were spent preparing his favorite dishes, imagining his smile when he walked through the door. The anticipation kept her alive, even though her weak knees and trembling hands told her otherwise. Every night, before retreating to her small bed, Mira would set the dining table for two. The second chair remained untouched, a silent witness to her longing. The village neighbors often pitied her, but were too timid to voice their concerns. "She needs to let go," they whispered. "Ayan has forgotten her." But Mira refused to believe that. In her mind, Ayan was still the little boy who held her hand tightly on their way to the village market, the young man who promised to take care of her no matter what. One cold winter morning, a letter arrived. Mira's heart leapt with hope as she tore open the envelope. It was from Ayan. Her hands trembled as she read the words. "Dear Mom, I hope this letter finds you well. Work has been overwhelming, but I promise to visit you soon. Please take care of yourself. Love, Ayan." Tears welled up in her eyes. Though the letter lacked the warmth she craved, it was enough to reignite her dwindling hope. Ayan was coming back. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months, but Ayan never arrived. The chair remained empty, and the food on the table grew cold every night. Mira's health began to deteriorate, but she clung to the promise in the letter, convincing herself that delays were inevitable in a busy man's life. One stormy evening, as rain lashed against the windows, Mira heard a knock at the door. Her heart raced. She struggled to her feet, clutching her cane for support, and hobbled toward the door. When she opened it, her face lit up briefly before confusion clouded her features. It wasn't Ayan. A young woman stood there, drenched and shivering. "Are you Mira?" the woman asked softly. "Yes," Mira replied, her voice barely audible over the storm. "I'm Priya," the woman said, stepping inside. I need to talk to you about Ayan." Priya's words felt like a dagger to Mira's heart. Ayan wasn't coming back. He couldn't. He had passed away in a tragic accident 6 months ago. The letter Mira had received wasn't written by Ayan, but by Priya, his fiancée. Priya had hoped to break the news gently, but life had a cruel way of unraveling plans. Mira's knees buckled, and she collapsed into the nearest chair. Her world spun, shattering into pieces she couldn't grasp. The emptiness in her heart felt heavier than ever. "I didn't know how to tell you," Priya said, her voice choked with emotion. "He loved you so much. He talked about you every day. He wanted to come back, but..." Priya handed Mira a small box. Inside was a photograph of Ayan as a child holding his mother's hand and a key. "He left this for you," Priya whispered. The key unlocked a drawer in Ayan's old room, which Mira had kept untouched for years. Inside, she found a diary. Each page was filled with Ayan's thoughts, dreams, and regrets. He wrote about his struggles in the city, his guilt for being away, and his undying love for his mother. "Mom, I'll come back one day and make everything right. I promise." Mira clutched the diary to her chest, her tears soaking its pages. The reality of Ayan's absence was unbearable, but the diary gave her a glimpse into his heart, a heart that never stopped loving her. Days passed, and Meera slowly adapted to her new reality. Priya visited frequently, bringing warmth and companionship into the old house. Together, they shared stories about Ayan, laughed through their tears, and found solace in each other's company. One evening, as they sat by the fireplace, Priya noticed the empty chair at the dining table. "You still set the table for him?" she said gently. Meera nodded. "It's my way of keeping him close." Priya placed her hand over Meera's. "He's always close, Meera. In your memories, in your love. You don't need the chair for that." The next morning, Meera woke up with a sense of clarity. She walked to the dining table and removed the second plate. For the first time in years, the chair stood bare. It wasn't easy, but it felt like a step toward healing, a way to honor Ayan without clinging to the pain of his absence. Meera's house, once filled with silence and sorrow, began to echo with laughter again. Priya became the daughter Meera never had, and together they created new memories while cherishing the old. Years later, on a sunny afternoon, Meera passed away peacefully in her sleep. In her hands, she clutched Ayan's diary, her face serene. Priya arranged a small, heartfelt ceremony. As she stood by Meera's grave, she placed a single chair beside it, facing the horizon. "For you, Meera," Priya whispered, "for all the waiting, all the love." The chair remained there, a silent tribute to a mother's undying love, and a reminder that, even in loss, love finds a way to endure.